Derivatives and options, etc., initially came in as risk management instruments. Okay? So people used it for hedging purposes or for reducing the uncertainty in the value of their portfolios. Now, we just try to study some of the risk management strategies that people employ when they use options. The first strategy that is very common is called the covered call. So, the situation that I'm in is that I've already short a call, or I'm short a call. We studied initially that if you short a call, then your downside can be infinite, because if the stock goes up to a very high value, that will be what your loss is. This is the payoff on a short call. What we're trying to study is a covered call. So a short call option is a 45-degree line. So this is how my payoff will look like. If the stock goes above the spot, the holder of the option will exercise it, he will buy it from me at K, and my loss will be equal to the spot minus the strike. Now I'm short this call option, and I realize that maybe I've made a mistake. But suddenly the world has gone down, or for whatever reason I can't square off my position. That means I cannot buy another call option and square off my position. So how do I hedge my risk? One of the ways of doing that is buying a stock. So I'm short a call option. I know there is infinite risk, or there is a very high risk to me now. I want to cover my position. So I also buy a stock. This is how the payoff will look on a stock. As the stock price moves up, I get a profit. As the stock price moves down, I get a loss. So what will be the net payoff on my covered call position? I was short call and I covered it by buying a stock. So let's say at maturity nothing happens, the spot remains at the strike. So it's good, I have no profit or loss on my stock position, but on my short option position I would have received, or I would have gained the premium. So this is what my profit would be. This is spot ended up below the strike price. The spot is below the strike. Will the option be exercised? No, not really. I mean, the buyer would rather buy it from the market at a lower price than buy it from me at a price of K. So the option will go unexercised. I will just receive whatever is the premium will be my overall upside. However, I have also bought a stock. As the spot goes below the price of my acquisition, I will have a loss. So any movement below K would result in a loss coming from the long stock position. So it will be the same as the payoff on a stock. However, I am also receiving the premium, so it is slightly higher. This distance is the premium that I have received on the call option. Now let's see if the strike price was, or the spot price at maturity was greater than the strike price. If the spot was greater than the strike price for my long stock position, on this long stock, short call. For any price movement above the strike price of K, I would receive 1 unit because of the long stock position. I would correspondingly lose out on my short call position because my option will come in the money, the holder will exercise it, and I will correspondingly have a loss. So any movement above the strike price, my option causes a loss, my stock position causes a gain, then my profit remains capped at the option premium. So by longing a stock in a short call position, I've created a covered call position, and I have changed my payoff from a short call position. What does this look like? To a short put position. That's the first strategy, called the covered call. The next option strategy I've employed is called the protective put. In a protective put, my investor is long a stock. So he is already long a stock. His payoff will be dependent on the stock price. The stock price goes down, he has a loss. Stock goes up, he has a profit. Now he's scared that the stock price may go down, and he wants to protect himself from that downside. So he buys a put option. So at this price, he buys a put option. If he buys a put option, means he pays an upfront premium. He pays an upfront premium But if the stock price goes below the strike price, he will have a 1 unit profit for every decline, for every 1 unit decline in the spot price. This will be my payoff on the long put. This will be my payoff on the long stock. This creates my protective put. So let's see what the combined payoff is going to look like. If the stock remains where it is, there is no profit or loss, the stock remains at the strike price. I gain nothing on the stock position, but I lose my premium from the put option that I have bought. For every unit of the spot price being greater than the strike price, my put option expires worthless because I will not sell it to him at P. I will sell it in the market at a higher price. So I will not exercise my put option. My position will be just a loss. However, for every 1 unit up movement, my long stock position starts coming into play. I will make 1 unit of profit for every 1 unit up movement. So this will be my payoff if the stock moves above the strike price. If the stock is below the strike price, that means my long put position comes in the money. I can buy it at a lower price and I have an agreement. My put option is an agreement to sell it to the counterparty at a higher price of K. So for every 1 unit decline, I will have a 1 unit of gain on the put option. But because I'm also long the stock, I will lose 1 unit on the long stock position. So if I combine the two payoffs, every 1 unit increase would be undone by the 1 unit decrease in the stock price. So every 1 unit gain on the put position would be undone by a 1 unit loss on the stock position. So my overall payoff will look like this dotted call. In a protective put, I have converted my long stock position into, this is the payoff for a long call. Third strategy that we'd like to study today is called a straddle. Now, a straddle is a strategy wherein you buy and sell, wherein you buy a call as well as a put option at the same strike price. So I'm here, I bought a call also first. This will be the payoff of my call. And I also bought a put option. This is red line is the premium on the put option. So this is my payoff on the put option. What would be like my combined payoff on my straddle position? If the stock remains where it is, it will be the premium on the call plus the premium on the put, because both the options do not come into play if the stock remains at the strike. So I will have a total loss equal to the sum of the two premiums. However, if the stock price moves above or is higher than the strike, my put option is worthless, but my call option gets me 1 unit increase for every 1 unit increase in the stock price. It's a 45-degree line again. And if the stock falls down, for every 1 unit fall, my call option expires worthless, but my put option comes in the money by every 1 unit for every additional unit decline in the spot price. So let me make it dotted again. So this will be my payoff on a straddle position. So you see, it's a relatively less risky strategy because this loss is limited. But what is this investor betting on about the markets? He's betting that there will be an extreme movement. Very common during the elections when, depending on, you might want to wonder, I don't know where the movement will be. If the election result is good, it will be a huge positive. If the election result is bad, it will be a huge negative. But either way, I know that the movement is going to be extreme. So I can take that kind of a view by buying a straddle. So I buy a call as well as a put at the same strike price. Now you would agree that buying a call as well as a put means a lot of expense, a lot of upfront payment. If I'm very sure that my view I'm very confident about my view that the market movement is going to be really extreme, I can reduce this cost by going in for another strategy called the Strangle. So a strangle is essentially the same as a straddle, only that my calls or puts are slightly spaced apart. So what do? I buy a call at a higher strike price because the call, this was my original strike price, let's say K. So I'll buy a call at a higher strike price and I'll short the put at a lower strike price. So you have to understand that buying a call at a higher strike price would entail a lower premium because I'm having the option to buy at a higher price. I'll pay a less upfront premium for that. Rather than I'm getting the option to buy at a lower price, I'll have to pay a higher premium. So if I increase the strike of my call, I will reduce my premium. Similarly, if I reduce the strike of my put, I will again reduce my premium because I have the option to sell at a lower price now. The option to sell it to the counterparty at a higher price would mean more cost to me because he's giving me an option to sell it to him or receive a much higher amount from him. So I decrease the strike of my put, increase the strike of my call, and let's say this is the premium for my call option. So these are the two individual payoffs. Let's say I combine them with the dotted one payoff for the Strangle. How would it look like? Now I have three possibilities. This will be KP, this will be KC. So if the stock price is less than KP, in between KP and KC and higher than KC. So if the spot price is in between, let's say, in between KP and KC, which option will come into play? Will my put option come into play? Put option is written at KP. Only if the price is below KP will the option holder exercise it. So, buy put. So I've bought a put at KP. If this price is higher than KP, I will not exercise it. So no exercise happens. Similarly, for the call option, I will exercise it only if the strike price is only if the spot price is greater than the strike price KC. In this case, it is lower than the strike price because it is in between KP and KC. So for all values in between KP and KC, I will have a loss equal to the sum of the two premiums. For every 1 unit increase over and above KC, my call option will start coming into the money and I will receive a 1 unit gain. For every 1 unit fall below the put strike KP, I will have a 1 unit gain. So the payoff is similar to a straddle, only that it's more spaced out and the distance will be lower. The sum of premiums will be lower than that of a straddle because I have reduced my option premiums by increasing the strike of a call and decreasing the strike of a put. There's 2-3 more option strategies that we would like to study. Now, these were my general risk management studies. Another concept of spreads. Now, a spread is a strategy wherein I buy and sell an equal number of options. So if I'm buying one option, I have to sell one call option, I have to sell one call option. If I'm buying 2 call options, I have to sell 2